Hello, this is Mr. Toops, and this is our first lesson here, Unit 1.1, Assignment 1. I'm glad you're here. Kind of hard to see me with the lighting. This is going to be the best with the board. We're going to adapt and overcome. I'm so glad to see all of you. Welcome back to school. This is our first assignment this year. It's a review, and we're going to talk about solving equations. So when you come on, you'll see this every day at the beginning, and this will let you know what unit and assignment it is. These will be in the modules. So we're going to go ahead and go to our first one. You should have a paper that looks like this. Okay. Notice it's Unit 1.1, Assignment 1 up here. Has all of the problems that we'll do. I'm going to keep this pretty short. Okay. It's going to be one page front and back. If you do not have paper, or if you don't have a printer at home and you can't print this, then you're going to do this on your own paper, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute, okay? Okay, so if you don't, well, let's do it now. So if you do not have a printer, okay, you're going to take your paper, and this basically is the margins. Make sure you put your name on it because it will be posted, so you should have your name right here. Then put the title. This is Unit 1.1, Assignment 1. This will also be your notes, okay? And just leave, this is as much as I need to see, okay? So I need to see your name, I need to see the title, and then you're going to take your notes right here, okay? So you'll take the notes that we're going to take, and then when you do the problems, you'll do problem number 1 and work down. Make sure you're doing your work this way. You'll do number 2, you'll work down. You'll do number 3, and you'll work down, okay? So we'll be doing our problems that way. And then once you get to here, you'll go back over here. Number 4, work down. Number 5, work down. Number 6, work down. And at the end, make sure you box in your answers, okay? That's going to help me out tremendously if you box in your answers. Some of you may only get 2 problems on rows. So you work left to right. You go down and show your work. And then when you get to the end of the margin on the right, you just go back and start another row. That's how you'll do your math on your own paper if you don't have a printer. Hopefully you have a printer. It's going to help out a lot if you do. Okay, now then, if you have this piece of paper, hopefully so, we're going to take notes on the right-hand side, and then we'll probably do about 3 problems together each time. These papers right here are basically going to be your notebook because your notes are going to be on the side. So let's start off with our notes. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in so you can see this better. Mr. Toops has more power. Okay, and then we're going to write down solve equations. So this is the steps on how I want you to solve the equations this year. Okay, so to solve an equation, the first step is to get rid of parentheses, and my handwriting is horrible, and fractions. And I'm going to show you how to do this. The first 2 lessons won't have fractions, okay? So the first thing we want to do is to get rid of the fractions. Step 2 is to combine the variables. I can't spell. And usually our variable is x, right? Okay, because x is a number on an x-axis. That's why we use x a lot. Step 3 is to combine the constants. And step 4 is to divide the coefficient. And we'll go through this, okay? So we're going to get all the letters together, we're going to get all the numbers together, and then at the end there's going to be a number in front of the x, or variable, and we'll divide that number to get our answer. Okay, now then let's go through and do some problems. Usually I'll go down on the left and just do some. So let's start off with number 1. Okay, so I can zoom into number 1 right here. On number 1, the first step, remember, is to get rid of the parentheses, right? So I have a parentheses right here, and I have to distribute this -6 to the 6b in the 4. Okay, and I haven't showed you how to use the distributive property yet. This is how I'm going to teach you how to use it. So this right here, okay, is a number, the number in front of the parentheses. Think of that as a Bluebell truck. Mr. Toops loves Bluebell ice cream. Okay, so this is our Bluebell truck, and every number inside the parentheses are the stores that the Bluebell truck has got to go to distribute the Bluebell ice cream. Isn't that cool? Okay, so our Bluebell truck is going to drive to every number inside the store. Notice that these two numbers will not get the Bluebell truck, are they? The Bluebell truck only goes to the numbers inside the parentheses to the right of it. So the -6 is our Bluebell truck. It's going to go to this store, and it's going to go to the store that's called -4. So I'm going to put -6 on top of every store that the Bluebell truck is going to go to. Now then, the 317 and the 5 are going to drop because I did not do anything to them. Now then, I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply -6 times 6b. You did this in 6th grade. You did the distributive property. So a negative times a positive is a negative. Make sure you're doing this too. Sign, number, letter. 6 times 6 is 36. And my number is, or my letter is B. Sign, number, letter. Sign, number, letter. That's all algebra is. Get used to doing the sign, number, letter. Now then I'm going to do this one. So a negative times a negative is a positive. And 6 times 4 is 24. And I don't have a letter, do I? So I just did sign, number on that one. Write down the sign, get the number. Get the sign, get the number. That's how you're going to do your integer work here. Now then, step 2 is to combine the variables, right? I only have one variable, but I have 3 numbers, don't I? My equal sign's right here, and I want one letter and one number on each side. So I need to group together this 5 and that 24, don't I? Okay, so I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to combine those, aren't I? So I'm going to drop my 317 equals my -36b is going to drop. And now then I'm just going to group these up, okay? So notice that which one is more? Which one do you have more of? Do you have more 5s or more 24s? You have more 24s, don't you? The 24 is positive, so I know I got more positives. This is the way I'm going to teach you to add and subtract. So this sign will be positive, and then 24 and 5 are both positives, so I would have 29 positives together, wouldn't I? Oh. Now then I have a number, a letter, and a number, don't I? So I need to group these numbers together. I'm going to continue to do this, and this is something else I'm going to teach you to do. I need to combine that 29 to the 317, but it's not on the same side of the equal sign. Notice right here, I did not change the signs. I'm going to take this 29 and move it across the equal sign. One with me. So I'm going to take the 29 and move it to the 317. In 8th grade, you might have shown, what's the opposite of plus 29? You got to subtract 29 from both sides. You cannot do in-solve. You have to show your work on these. You cannot use in-solve. If you can't show this work, you're going to be in trouble. Now that I'm going to subtract 317 and 29, you have a calculator that can do the integer work. I don't have a calculator here, so I'm going to do it by hand. I'm going to subtract and get 8. And then that's going to be 20 or 30, so it's going to be 28. 288, that's right, equals -36b. Now then notice I have a number and a letter, don't I? I have a number and a letter. The last step is to divide the coefficient, and I'm going to divide both sides by -36. So a -36 divided by -36, this divides to 1. It doesn't matter if the letter's on the left or the right, so I'm going to keep my letter on the right. I get B, and now then I got to divide. A positive divided by a negative is a negative, and 36 goes into 288. I'm kind of cool here because I know this. If you multiply this by 8, you'll get this. So -8 equals to B. Notice I boxed in my answer. So if you don't have a printer, you're going to copy this problem and do the work just like this. And then you'll put number 2 to the right of it and go straight down. Everyone see what we did here. So we got rid of the parentheses. We did the distributive property with the Bluebell truck. Then we grouped these two numbers together. Then I had to move a number across the equal sign. If you have to move a number and you draw an arrow, it kind of helps because you got to do the opposite operation. And then when you get to here, you have a number equal to a letter. You just divide and get your answer. So get rid of the parentheses, combine the variables, combine the numbers, divide, and boom, you got it. Let's do, all of these only have one letter. So on this paper right here, you only have one variable. I believe so. Well, there's 2 right here. So let's go to number 7, let's see. Get one that I could work with. Let's do number 6. I do not have a calculator with me, so. Okay, so we're on number 6. Now then, if you have your own paper, just put number 6 by number 1. Do it. When you get to number 6, you don't have to do it again. Y'all with me? Okay, so we're going to work on number 6. So the first step is to get rid of the parentheses, right? -8 is my Bluebell truck, so I'm going to take the -8 and distribute it, right? And it's only going to go to these 2 stores. The -8 won't go to this 4 or this 148. It's not in the parentheses, is it? So I'm going to put the -8 on top of the 1 and the 4. Now then I'm going to multiply with the distributive property, right? A negative times a positive is a negative. Sign, number, letter, right? 8 times 1 is 8. A negative times a negative is a positive. 8 times 4 is 32. And my letter is X. Sign, number, letter. Just sign, number, letter over and over. The minus 4X drops equals -148. Oh. Now then we have a number, a letter, and a number, don't we? Okay, draw a bar through the equal sign to help you separate it. And now then let's group. Notice that our 2 variables are on the left, aren't they? They're not on opposite sides, are they? So we're going to group our variables here, and if you do that, you just got to go down here and group them, don't you? The -8 drops. Now then, do you have more 32s or do you have more 4s? You got more 32s, right? And the 32s are positive. So my plus drops. The 32s are positive, the 4s are negative. They're not the same, are they? So I'm going to take the small away from the big. 4 away from 32 is 28. And what is my letter? X. What did I just write down? Sign, number, letter. Now then the -148 drops. Now then I only have 1 letter, but I got 2 numbers, don't I? I've got to take this number and go across the peak line, don't I? So I'm going to draw an arrow. And if you want, I'm not going to make you put a +8 here, but you got to put a +8 to the number it's going to, right? So where the arrow tip ends, you're going to put the opposite of that number under here. So I'm going to have a +8. Draw a bar. The 28X drops. And now then you got to do -148 plus 8, don't you? 148's larger, you got more negatives than you do positives, don't you? So my answer will be negative. And then I'm going to take 8 away from 148 because I got positives and negatives, right? 8 away from 148 is 140. Now then I'm going to divide, aren't I? So the last step is to divide the coefficient, which is 28. The 28's here, divide out to 1, so I get X equal, which is what we want. And 140 divided, the negative divided by positive is a negative. That's my sign. And 140 divided by 28 is -5. Ho, 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 ho. Okay. Now let's do, I think I could do this one on number 10. Usually I will do 3 problems. Well, y'all only have 10. Y'all should be able to do the rest of these. Let's go to the verbal descriptions. And we'll do 3 of these. So on these problems right here, we're going to go through and generate the equation. I'm going to show you a really cool way to do it. Let's do number 12, a little bit more complicated. Whenever you do these problems, write down verb. Your verb will turn into the equal sign. That's huge. Okay? So your verb is going to turn into the equal sign, and most of the time in algebra, that verb will be the word is. So wherever the word is, that is going to turn into your equal sign. This is super duper easy if you do it this way. So if you read number 12, the verb is right here. Underline the verb, draw an arrow down, and put it equal. So on all these problems, the first thing you want to do is get the verb, make it an equal. Now then, write down your plus and minuses. The sum means I'm going to add, right? The sum of that and is going to turn into a plus. That makes sense? So I'm going to add x and 10 up because it says sum of. What if it said the difference? This wouldn't be a plus, it would be a minus, wouldn't it? Now then I could just drop the numbers, can I? So x plus 10 equals 29. Okay, now we need to solve for the variable. We're going to move 10 across, and we get x equals 19, don't we? Piece of cake. If you do it this way, if you get that equal sign first and then write down the add or subtract sign, it's going to be easy. Let's see if there's a less than on here. There is not a less than. On a less than, you need to flip. So we'll talk about that later. We'll do two more together. Number 14, let's find our word is. Our is right here. Underline is, draw a bar, put an equal. Now then, more than means to what? If I underline more than, it means to add, don't I? Now then, notice 7 plus a equals 6. I got it, don't I? Now then, we need to solve for the variable. Notice we only got one letter, so we're going to take the 7 and move it across the equal sign, aren't we? The opposite of positive 7 is a negative 7, and we're going to get a equals negative 1, right? Ho, 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 ho. How much fun can you get? Okay, and let's do one with a minus. Okay, let's do 15. Okay, so first thing you want to do is find the is, don't you? Our is right here. So I'm going to underline is, draw down a bar, put an equal. Okay, now then decrease by means to subtract, doesn't it? Okay, so I have a minus 25 equals 39. Isn't that easy? This is what learning with more power looks like. Ho, 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 ho. So my variable's here. I need all the numbers on the right. So I'm going to take the 25, go across the equal sign. So the opposite of minus 25 is a plus 25. And you would get a equals 39 plus 25 is 64. Oh, 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 oh. Mr. Tubes don't need a calculator. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Now then, there's not many problems left to do. So you'll finish the rest of them up on your own. You'll take a quiz over this, I believe, on Monday. Okay, today's Thursday. You'll take a quiz on Monday. Finish these up. I will post the key to this paper after the quiz is done. Okay, so you finish this up, and I think you post it. Whenever you finish it up, just post it, okay? Just send me the digital file of your work. You'll do that when you do the quiz. So when you take your quiz, this will need to be completed on Monday. Got it? And remember, Pentagon T means always believe. You are awesome. Thank you for watching. You're going to have a great day and enjoy the work.